All right, so we are streaming. Good morning. How are you doing today? Are you there? I see we
Good
already.
morning, teacher.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
It's fine.
Great. Very good. So we're going to
Fine.
get started here. Today, we're going to take a look at a story that a bunch of people wrote last week. We are going to look at some vocabulary words. We're going to read the story together. So we're going to have some fun here. I'm going to let you guys read and we'll talk about it and talk in English today. So let me just read some comments here. We got Lamia Tabasamim says, hello, sir. Hello, Lamia. Davika says, I'm from Sri Lanka. Hello, Davika, and hello, Sri Lanka. Welcome one, welcome all. Just double checking to make sure that everything's going through, that we are live. So looks good. So let's go ahead and get started here. Boom. There we go. We're good to go. We are live. We are rolling. So good morning, everyone. Hey, Denise, welcome. Good morning. Happy to see you here. So let's go ahead and start off here. About a week or so ago, I posted this picture as a writing exercise. 23 people commented and wrote different stories. So these were amazing. We got several amazing story here's. If you guys have not read these stories, you should definitely take a look. So different people commented and wrote their stories about what they thought happened in this picture. But some people wanted to know about the vocabulary words. So I went ahead and posted some of the words, and these are the words that we're going to look at now: sword, spear, fire, burn, ship, mountain, lake, cape, warrior, and disintegrate. So let's go ahead. We have some pictures here for you guys to look at and learn what they mean. All right. So Maria Luisa, do you know what we call this object here?
Swan.
Yes.
Sword.
Yes.
Swan
Good.
or sword.
This is a sword. Exactly.
Sword.
Yes. A sword. Okay.
A sword.
So you spell it.
Sword.
Oops. Let me get it here. What's that?
SWORD.
Very good. SWORD. Sword. Okay, so everybody who's watching right now, go ahead and in the comments, write a sentence with sword. Write a sentence with sword, and then we can look at your sentences if you are spelling and writing correctly. If not, then we will correct them right here live and come up with some sentences for these words. That way everybody can get some practice. Someone is asking here, what are the steps to participate in the Zoom meeting? So if you download Zoom to your computer, or you can just access it through your browser, you can download it on your cell phone. It's free. You go to zoom.us is the website, and then you come to, let me pull up on the screen here so you can see it. I post the link inside the Facebook group. So in the Learn English Like a Maven Facebook group, I post it right at the top of the page as an announcement. So you click the link, and then you can access the Zoom meeting and come participate with us. So that's how you access the Zoom meeting. All right. Hello. Good morning, Julie. All right. Great. So let's go back here to the vocabulary. Let's go ahead. You guys keep writing your sentences, and then when we get done, we'll come back. And where do we go here? My Canva account. Okay. We'll take a look at the sentences you guys wrote. Okay. So we have sword is the first word. Here we have a woman with the sword. Who is this woman, Maria Luisa?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who,
It's
when we
an
have a
actor.
woman who has a sword and has these scales here in her hand, do you know what we call? Like usually she's blindfolded. She has a blindfold on her eyes, you know?
Mm?
Have you ever
Mm?
seen this woman with a sword and the scales?
No,
We call her
I don't.
justice,
I didn't.
right? We say that justice is blind. So
Ah,
I don't know if they say this in
oh,
Italy, but
ah,
here we represent justice as a woman, and she
ah.
has a sword and the scales. All right. So here's another funny man with a sword, right? And here he is again. Describe this picture, Maria Luisa. What do you see here?
I see a man with a sword, but he have at the same time a bag. Maybe he's coming to his job, and
Uh-huh.
he's seems happy to go to work.
Yes, you don't normally go to work with a sword, right? These are just some
No.
funny pictures that I downloaded here to go along with them. But he has a sword. Okay, so here is another weapon. What do we call this weapon? Do you know, Maria Luisa? Whoops, I already showed you there.
No, no, I don't know.
Okay, this is a spear.
Spear.
Yes, a spear. We spell it S-P-E-A-R. So a spear is the kind of weapon that you throw. So the warriors of old
Mm.
use a spear when they fight. I think this is like a Viking. So here he has a spear. So go ahead, everybody who's watching, you can type in the comments a sentence with the word spear. So that way we can come back and take a look at them. So while you guys are writing, I will keep on moving. Here is another person with a
Heroes.
spear. Let's let Evandro in. Come on in, Evandro. How you doing this morning? Welcome, welcome. So here he has a spear. What do we call this thing that he's using to defend himself? Do you know?
Ah. Eh, the scudo in italiano. I don't know
Yeah.
the words in English.
In
I
English,
can
it's
see
called.
an hero,
Uh-huh.
an ancient hero
Yes, like a
from
hero.
the
Uh-huh.
past.
So this we call a shield.
Shield.
A shield, yes. Uh-huh. I don't
Shield.
think I wrote
Okay.
that word because it wasn't actually in our story, but I had that picture there. I thought it was a pretty cool picture. So, what do you see here in this picture?
Shall I start?
What do you see in this picture? Describe the picture.
I see a photograph who shows a little man who is going to start a fight with an high man, a tall man, with
Uh-huh.
an enormous man, a
Yes. What do
giant,
we call a high, enormous person?
giant,
All right. Very good. We call him a giant.
a
So
giant.
giant, yes, we spell it
Okay.
Giant. Giant. All right,
Giant.
let's just go back here a second. Hang on, Maria Luisa. So someone, Sabawoon wrote, a spear is a historical weapon. This is a very good sentence. Sabawoon, fantastic. Spear is a historical weapon. So Devika also wrote shield for the word shield. So if you don't know how to spell shield, you can see Devika wrote it here correctly, Shield. All right. Someone wrote spear is a kind of cold weapon. All right. Good. So here we have giant, right? The big person is called a giant. And what do we call the short person, the small person? Someone wrote here, Devika wrote a dwarf. So yes, Devika, very good. A small person is called a dwarf. And I actually got my pictures backwards here. So what do we call this? What is this image here?
It's a ship.
A ship. Very good. Let's just talk with Evandro here. Evandro, good morning. Are you there? How you doing today?
Good morning, David. I'm from Brazil.
All right. Hello, Evandro. Hello, Brazil. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. The picture and flag, yes, flag and ship.
Okay, good. So here we have the ship, right? This object in the water, ship, S-H-I-P, and this is the sail of the ship, right? Like the flag. So, but usually the cloth that pushes the ship forward, we call the sail. So, yes, Devika wrote it here, sail, S-A-I-L. Very good, Devika. Fantastic. Someone wrote boat. Yes, this could be a boat as well. All right. So some more people are coming in here. Abi Samed and Amalikan. Welcome, welcome, everyone. All right. Whoops. So what's going on here in this picture? I'm going too far and already showing the vocabulary words. So what do you guys see here in this picture?
A fire.
A fire? What else? What is the fire doing? Hey, Amalikan, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning and good evening also.
Good evening for you. Yes, yes, for you. It's already evening.
Okay, so how are you all?
Everyone's doing well. So good. So the fire, what is the fire? What is the fire doing? What does fire do? Yeah, someone wrote like a barbecue. What does the fire do? It's burning. Good. Devika wrote burning. That is correct. The fire is burning. So the fire burns. That's what the fire does. What is the fire burning? What do we call this stuff that the fire burns? Yes, very good. Someone, Facebook user wrote wood in fire. So we have wood in the fire and it's burning. What is burning here in this picture? Go ahead, Amalikan. You can answer. I see your hands raised. You can just answer. You can talk.
Oh, sorry.
What is going on in this picture? What is burning?
Burning. I think I missed it. I don't see it. I can't see it.
You can't see it very
another
well.
Picture.
Okay. It's not a there's not a lot of contrast here, but it's a ship in the water. And the ship is burning.
It's burning and it's a drawing.
Yes. It's a drawing of a ship that is burning. The ship is in the water and it's burning. So what is burning in this picture? Is it the ship that's burning or something else?
maybe something else. An island,
Uh-huh.
a
Yes.
village.
A village, very good. It's like there's an island in the background. You see some houses there, and it looks like everything is burning. All right. Oh no, I already got the picture backward here again, so you guys already saw the word. No problem. What is this?
Mountain.
A mountain. Yes, very good.
Mountain.
We have some high mountains. So, how do we spell mountains? Someone spell this word for us. Go ahead, Evandro. We'll let you spell this. Do you want to spell this word?
Mountains.
Very good. Mountains. Mountains. So we have some mountains here. Where you guys live, are there mountains?
Yes.
Mountains where you live, Evandro?
I live in Caxias do Sul, in Brazil. The region, how do you say, Serra in English? How do you say Serra?
It's like the mountain, kind of a plateau. Is it flat on top?
Yes. My region,
if the top is flat, we call it a plateau. So that's another word you can use for. But you call them mountains. We have hills, which are smaller.
Because my region in South Brazil, various mountains.
Yes, it's very beautiful down there. I have been down in Rio Grande do Sul, Santa Catarina. Very, very beautiful. I love.
Yes.
You go through that area. You've got the mountains and the trees, and you see the rivers way down below in the valleys. It's very beautiful.
Yes.
We have a place like this. We call it mountain, but they are hill, and because they aren't very high, they are hill, and we are the lakes. We are lakes in the bottom of the mountain.
Yes. Okay. Very good. So you've got the mountains, and down here at the bottom we have a lake. Very good. A lake. So let me just answer a question here. Someone's saying, Nasser's saying, I want to join by Zoom, but it's asking for the meeting ID. Nasser, the password is Maven, so just MAVEN. If you need the ID, I don't know what the ID is. I think the meeting ID is some numbers, but if you just click the link, it should take you automatically. If it's asking you for other information, it's probably because you need to update your Zoom app. I know they have a new version, and they're saying that I think by May 5th, everybody had to update. So maybe you need to update your Zoom app. Okay, very good. So lake. Amalekan, go ahead. Spell this word for us.
Okay. L-A-K-E.
Very good. L-A-K-E. Here is a beautiful lake down at the bottom of the mountains. All right. So what do you see here?
Soldier, maybe.
A soldier? All right. Good. What is he holding? Is this a spear or a sword?
Yeah. Sword.
A sword. All right. And what is this red thing here off to the side?
No, I have no idea about it.
Anybody know? Evandro, Maria Luisa, anybody want to guess? It's like what Superman wears. You know,
Gladiator.
Right? He's a gladiator, probably. All right. So it's a cape, right? He has his cape, a red cape over his shoulder. So Abisamed Ali, are you there?
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great, great. So do you want to spell this word for us, cape?
C-A-P-E.
Very good. C-A-P-E, cape. So he's wearing a cape. These are all words from our picture. All right, so let me just let Imtiaz in here. What do you guys see here? Whoops, I already showed you the word.
The warrior.
A warrior, exactly. Very good. Yeah, nice. You guys guessed my word. So what is he holding here? Is this a sword?
Yes, it's a sword.
No,
What is this? What is he
No,
holding
it's
here?
a spear.
It's a spear. Yes, he's
Spear.
holding a spear. What is he holding over here in his other arm? Do you remember what this round thing is?
Shirt.
A shield, yes. And
Shield.
what is here on his back? What is this red thing on his back?
Cape.
A cape, right? So he has
A
the
cape,
spear,
yeah.
he has a shield, he has the cape. Very good. So this is a warrior, right?
Warrior.
A warrior. Go ahead. Somebody spell the word warrior for us. Maria Luisa, I think it's your turn.
W-A-A-R-R-I-O-R.
Very good. W-A-R-R-I-O-R. Warrior. Warrior. Is that a hard word for you guys to say?
No.
No. Okay. So that's good then. Some people have trouble pronouncing the R sound in English. So when you've got words like warrior, you've got lots of R's in there. It can be hard for some people to pronounce. Warrior. All right. Moving along to our next picture here. What do you guys see here in this picture?
A bullet.
A bullet?
A bullet.
All right. What else? What's going on here in this picture? What is it doing? You know, like how sometimes you take medicine, the vitamin C, and you put it in the water. What does it do?
Yeah.
Freeze it.
Look for the bacteria.
Anybody know? Take a guess.
Effervescent.
Yes, it's an effervescent, right? Some vitamin C, it's effervescent. And what happens to the effervescent vitamin C when you put it in the water?
Freeze.
It starts bubbling, right? And as it bubbles up, it begins to disintegrate, right? It disintegrates. It begins to disintegrate. So go ahead, Evandro. It's your turn, I think. Go ahead and spell the word for us.
D-I-S-E-N-T-R-A-T-E.
All right, good. D-I-S-I-N-T-E-G-R-A-T. Disintegrate. Disintegrate. The vitamin C disintegrates. So what do you guys see in this picture here? Alakan, what's going on in this picture?
It's look like a depressed person.
Uh-huh. And what?
And something is disappeared behind him.
Uh-huh. It kind of looks like he's disintegrating, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
It looks like he's disintegrating. All right, very good. So that's all for our vocabulary words. Do you guys have any questions about any of these words?
No.
No questions, okay?
Hello. Is it
So-
sword, right?
What's that?
Is it sword, right?
Yes, sword. Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at the picture here and see if you guys recognize the different words, right? Here we have the sword. Is this
Sword.
a giant sword or a dwarf sword?
A giant sword.
Yeah, it's a giant sword,
And
right?
the
It's
sword.
very, very big. And what is
Big.
happening to the giant sword?
It's destroying.
It's destroying, right? Kind of like the vitamin C, the effervescent. Remember that word? Who remembers?
Yeah. Disintegrate.
Disintegrate. Very good. So
Disintegrate.
the sword is disintegrating. So what is this down here? The water.
Water. Yeah.
Do you remember the
And-
word that we used? The lake. Yes, very
The
good.
Lake. A soldier with black cave and knife.
Uh-huh. And what are these tall things around the lake?
Tall mountain.
Mountains.
The mountains. Good. So
And
here
it's sparkle of fire.
the sparkle of fire, right? The sparks from the fire. So who is this here?
Soldier, warrior.
A soldier, a warrior. Very good.
Yeah.
Good. Is he holding a sword?
No.
What is he holding?
It's right now I can't remember the word. It's S, the first letter.
Who remembers this word? Do you remember, Maria Luisa? Do you remember?
Spear.
Alondra? A spear. Very
A
good.
spear.
It's a spear. He's holding a spear.
Oh, can you spell the word, please?
Spell the word. Let's go back and I will type it here in the chat. S-P-E-A-R. Spear.
Okay,
Right.
spear.
Can you see it there?
Yes.
S-P-E-A-R.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So, what do we see around the man? What is
It thinks
around-
it's sheep.
Right,
It's a
exactly.
ruined sheep, maybe. I think.
The wooden ships. And what happened to the wooden ships?
Something. Fire is burning. Something burning.
Fire is burning the ships. Yes, very good. All right. Amala Khan's on a roll today. Congratulations, Amala Khan.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. So, where were we? Let me go back here to our original picture in the Facebook group, because remember I posted this picture and many people wrote about the picture. So, wrote different stories about it. So there were many good stories, and now my internet doesn't want to cooperate. Oh no. It's
Okay, I have something to say. Can
yes. Sure, go ahead.
Okay. A few days ago, I just saw the pictures you posted it, but I can't understand how to write. But right
Uh-huh.
now, I can understand properly. How can I write like mountain, water, sword, soldier, warrior, cave, snake, spear, and sheep. These words are very helpful to describe this picture. And next time, I think it's very easy for me to describe anything to describe. Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, great. Very good. So
It's a nice idea for me.
it's
Thanks
a
a
nice
lot.
idea for you. Yeah, it's good. It's a good way for you to practice with
Yeah.
your vocabulary and to let me just get out of here so that way I can
And
see everybody.
I missed last 3 days. Maybe we couldn't avail this facility. I think live session. I missed you daily.
Oh no, because over the weekend I was busy, so we ended up not doing the live. So you didn't miss any lives. No problem. It's all
Okay, so
good.
weekend, and so it's Friday and Saturday, right?
Yes, weekend is like Saturday, Sunday, because the normal weekdays are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we have 5 work weekdays, right? And then the weekend is the days that most people have off, like Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, I got it. I got it. But here we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well in my country.
Oh, really? Nice. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So hang on just a second, guys. I'm pulling up the next part of our lesson here, but my internet is kind of slow. When I do the Zoom classes, then the internet gets real slow. So it's coming. It's coming. I should have opened it before, but I forgot. So I'm opening the next section. Here we go. All right. So the next section, we're going to read a short story. So I'm going to let you guys each read a section of the story, okay? So you
Okay.
guys can read it. We're going
Okay.
to talk about it. If you have any questions, we're going to discuss it as well. You know what? First, let me just read the story. I'm going to read the story first, so that way you guys can hear the pronunciation. And then we're going to go back through and I will let you read the story as well. Okay. So we'll read it together the second time. And then if you guys have questions about the words or the pronunciations, you can ask about those things. All right. Are you ready?
All right. Ready? Yeah.
Okay. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. One moment. Doo-doo. All right, I'm just trying to. There we go. Okay. Can you guys see my screen here or not yet?
No, I can't.
Okay, let me just make sure that. Okay, here we go. All right.
It's loading.
It's loading. Okay, let me
Yeah.
know when you guys can see it.
Yeah, they barely had started screen sharing. It's
Okay.
loading.
Great. So there's everybody in the group. Let's just take a moment to greet Laesyu and Ahmad because they just joined us here. Good morning. How y'all doing? Laesyu, you there? You want to say hello, introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Laércio. I am from south of Brazil. I'm thanks for the
All right.
possibility to participate in this conversation.
You're welcome. Happy to have you here. As soon as I saw you in the video, I said, oh, that's a Gaúcho because you had your chimarrão, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes, I'm
Evandro
from
saw.
south from
Evandro
Brazil.
knows too.
yes.
Evandro has his as well. All right. So
Yeah.
for those of you who aren't from Brazil and don't know, a chimarrão it's like a tea, right?
Yes, yes.
It's a
Like tea.
popular tea. All right.
Yes.
So let's talk
Traditional
with.
in South Brazil.
Yes, very traditional down in southern Brazil. I think in Argentina as well, right? In
Yes.
Argentina,
Uruguay.
they drink it. Uruguay.
Uruguay
Yes.
also.
All right. Very good. So, Ahmad, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm very good, and you?
We're doing fantastic. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I had a great weekend. It was
Awesome.
full of joy and interesting works, and also reading. And I've prepared my own schedule for my studies. It was a great weekend.
Great, great, awesome. So later you can share your schedule with me because I want to take a look talk with you more about that, find out what you're doing, how you're studying. That's awesome. I like to hear that
Yes, I
kind
will
of stuff.
surely. Okay.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and jump into the story. So like I said, first I'm going to read the story one time so you guys can hear the pronunciation. And then I'm going to let you guys read it and you can ask questions about the vocabulary words, the pronunciation. I tried to make this story a little bit more difficult. So I used some different words. So if there's words you don't know, just write them down right now as I read, and then later you can ask about them. Okay. So someone is asking about how to join Zoom. So for
Hello.
Zoom, you just jump into the Facebook group. The link is right at the top of the page. Just click the link and you can join us with the Zoom app. All right, so here we go. Here's the story. The name of the story is The Sword of Alamorth. This is actually taken from Adriano. Adriano wrote a short story. There were many amazing stories in the group. There was The Sword of Survival. There was The Last Sword. There were many very interesting stories that people wrote in the Facebook group. So I also wrote my own story, and that's what we are reading now. So Fletcher stood at the edge of the lake, surrounded by steep mountains. The edges of his thick, dark cape whipped and wafted in the warm wind that surrounded him. He gripped his spear tightly and tried to contain the emotion that surged within him. Relief that the battle was over, joy that he was still alive, sadness over the senseless death of people he knew and loved, nervous apprehension of what would come next as the world tried to pick up the pieces and carry on. A twinge of fear at the thought of returning to Alamorth once again. Guilt for having started this whole mess when he arrived. Anger at those who pushed him into it. The thoughts swirled in his head like uncontrolled water flowing over the precipice of Niagara. The emotions raged through his cells like fire around the great phoenix feathers. Fletcher took a deep breath and closed his eyes, trying to push the emotions out of his mind. He focused on the fact that he was still alive, grateful that despite everything he had been through, he was still alive. The stormy emotions raging inside of him began to subside slowly as he took several more deep breaths. He opened his eyes once more and looked around. Fletcher stood in awe of the destruction that had taken place around him. The crackling sound of the flames licking and consuming what was left of the once mighty vessels of a great army filled his ears. The smoky scent of burning oak filled his nostrils from the broken and burnt out hulls of charred ships surrounding the edge of the lake, or rather, what had once been the bottom of the lake. It now lay dry and barren. 80% of the water that had once filled this crater was no longer here. Turned to steam, most of the Great Lakes liquid had been vaporized into the atmosphere by flames from the sword of Alamorth. Fletcher lifted his eyes to look at the sword in the middle of the lake. It had landed point down and sunk deep into the soggy lake bottom. He watched in awe as the sword slowly began to disintegrate and self-destruct from the bottom up. And yet it did not fall over or move. The sword continued to hover over the water and float silently in the air. The flames and burning ash continued to waft off of it. Then it began to rise into the air. Loose rocks around Fletcher trembled and rose up slightly along with it. He wished that it didn't have to end this way. Fletcher had come so far on his journey searching for this mighty weapon, and now that he had found it, the sword was disintegrating and disappearing before his very eyes. Fletcher had started this journey with the hope that once he found it and possessed it, he would become king of all the land as the legends foretold. But that didn't seem to be the case now. The thought crossed his mind that his motives had not been pure. The entire time he had viewed the sword as a symbol of power and authority, an object to be obtained for his own gain. And yet now the true meaning of the sword became clear. It was the symbol of freedom for his people. It had united them, kept all of the tribes together. He was no better than any of the others. His tribe was no more special than the rest. And yet, if he possessed it, he would consider himself the best. His tribe would consider themselves more special than all the others. It was for the best that it be returned to its rightful place, far from the grasp of corrupt and greedy men who would try to manipulate it and wield it for their own evil purposes. Men who would use it to control their fellow members for their own selfish ends. Fletcher smiled at the thought that he had come full circle. He had left his tribe out of anger at his chief's greedy and corrupt actions, and yet he had no doubt that he would have been tempted to do the same if he had been in his shoes. He reflected on the fact that over the course of his journey, his hope and belief had become blurred through his own desire for power, which would have taken him down a destructive path. The last bits of the sword's handle disintegrated into bright bits of ashes and smoke. Fletcher raised his spear in a final salute, grateful that the sword had saved him and his people. He had given it up to save the lives of those he loved, and it had been worth it. He wondered what would have happened if he had chosen a different path, if he had run off with it instead of using the sword to save his people. Would it still have been given him if he had done that? Had this all been a test? Fletcher shook those questions out of his mind. He would never know, but he did know that he had made the right decision for himself and those he loved. He smiled wanly to himself and turned to leave the destruction behind him. It was time to head back home. All right, so what did you guys think? Did you understand the story?
Yes. Mm,
100%?
yes.
All right, any questions about any of the words?
No.
No questions. All right. So let's say hello to Mehedi. How you doing? Mehedi, you there? Do you want to say something? Introduce yourself? I guess not. Okay, Khan, do you want to say anything? Khan Shagiwal. You got to unmute your microphone. I can't hear you. I can see your mouth moving, but I cannot hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Hello.
Good evening here to all of you. Hope
How are
you're
you
fine,
doing?
well, every one of you.
Good, good. Glad to
I'm
have you
quite
here.
fine. Hope
Uh,
that all of you also be fine.
All right. Very nice. Honeyland, how you doing today?
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, it's me. Actually, this is my second time to join the Zoom class. Maybe I'll turn off the video. Nice to meet you all. So it's good to know, yeah, just like I told to other friends, it's good to meet new friends here.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you here. Is there a way you can turn up your volume a little bit? Because it's real low. So if you can turn up your microphone somehow, I think it'll be easier for everybody to hear you.
All right. Wait a minute.
I mean, I could kind of hear you, but it was real low. So,
Hello?
okay, we can hear you. It's just a little low. If you can't, that's okay. It just, if there was a volume control, you could turn it up so that way we could hear you better, but it's fine. Okay, so who wants to read first? Do we have a volunteer?
Yes.
Shall I start?
Okay, go ahead, Maria Luisa. Read the first part here.
Okay. Fletcher stood at the edge of the lake, surrounded by steep mountains. The edge of his thick, dark cape whipped and waved in the warm wind that surrounded him. He gripped his spear tightly and tried to contain the emotion that surged within.
Okay, good. All right. So, do you guys have any questions about any of these words?
Yeah, I have.
Go ahead. What's your question?
It's steep mountains. It means
Steep mountains. Who knows what steep means? Anybody know? Want to help a Malakan?
Very high mountain?
Yeah, okay. It's not just high, it's the fact that the cliffs are steep. Like, you know, sometimes the slope is very gradual and it goes up slowly, so you can just walk up it. But if it's steep, it's almost vertical, right? We have these words here: precipitous, sheer, abrupt, perpendicular. So these are synonyms for steep. So it means the mountain is very steep, going up like this. It's hard to climb.
like tower, right?
Yeah, like a tower. Exactly.
Okay, I
Towering
got it.
mountain,
And
straight.
another one is whiffed.
Wafted.
Yeah,
All right.
whiffed
So
and wafted.
wafted is past tense. So waft. What is waft? Does anybody know?
Load.
Okay.
Is it
Do you see these
synonym?
words here?
Float.
Float. Yeah, just kind of waves in the wind. You know, it's just floating, floating around. It's blowing softly, gently. So it's like a soft, gentle float.
Okay. And what does means whipped? The before one.
Whipped.
Whipped.
Ah, whipped. Whipped.
Whipped.
Right here.
Yeah.
Whipped.
Whipped.
What is whipped? Who knows what whip means? Anybody know what a whip is?
Switch.
All right. You know, when you beat someone, you use a whip. You go whoosh, right? So that's a whip. So it means like the wind was blowing and it was whipping, you know, it's kind of moving his cape around and causing it to snap at the edges.
Okay, I got it. It's the sound, something like.
All right, whipped. So you guys notice here the difference in the pronunciation between words like whipped and gripped. It has a T sound, which is different from words like wafted and surrounded and surged. Okay? So these words all end with ed, but the pronunciation is a little bit different. So sometimes the ed sound can have a D sound. It can have an ed sound like ed, and sometimes it can have a T sound. So this word here, you don't say whipped, you say whipped. All right? The same thing with grip. You don't say gripped, you say gripped. Whipped and gripped.
Whipped.
whipped and gripped. So that'll help you with your pronunciation. So the reason it has the T sound is because of the letters. So certain letters have a T sound, and there's actually rules for that. We can talk about that more later. But just so you guys pay attention to the pronunciation, so you know that words like whipped and gripped have the T sound there. All right, great. So let me go ahead and break this up here a little bit more. This is a big paragraph. Who wants to read the second paragraph?
I think I can.
Okay. Do you guys know how to use to raise your hand in Zoom? There's a little button. There's a little button that says raise hand. If you guys use the raise hand, I can see it, because if you say I do, then I don't know. I hear a bunch of voices. So we've got Amalakan and Ahmad raising their hands. So go ahead. Amalakan, we'll let you go first, and then Ahmad, you'll go next. And you guys can raise your hand if you want to read. If you don't want to read, it's no problem.
Yes.
You don't have to raise your hand. But if you do, there's a little button there you can click, raise hand, and then I know that you want to read. So go ahead, Amalakan, read the next paragraph.
Relief that the battle was over, joy that he was still alive, sadness over the senseless death of people he knew and loved, nervous apprehension of what would come next as the world tried to pick up the pieces and carry on.
Okay, very good. Fantastic, Amalakan. Do you guys have questions about any of these words? The meaning or the pronunciation?
What's the difference between relief and joy?
Relief and joy.
And joy.
All right, so relief. We have some synonyms here. Let's find, it's kind of like a release or a comfort.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you were very stressed. There was all that tension. And now it's just kind of like, it's like, wow. So
ease. Yeah.
Ease. You release it. You're comforted. All that pressure is off. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And joy is, let's see, like satisfaction, happiness, delight.
Cheerful.
So they're very similar, but relief is more like, the ease of pressure, and joy is like the feeling of happiness or delight.
Okay.
Any other questions? No questions? Okay. Ahmad, you had your hand raised next, and then we'll do Abisamed. You'll go after on the other paragraph. So if anybody else wants to read as well, go ahead and raise your hands and let me know that you want to read. If you don't want to read, it's okay, no problem. We won't force anybody to read. But go ahead, Ahmad.
A twinge of fear at the thought of returning to Alamorth once again. Guilt for having started this whole mess when he arrived. Anger at those who pushed him into it.
Perfect. Very good. Fantastic. All right. Any questions?
Yes.
About any of these words?
What does twinge mean?
Twinge. Twinge is a good word. Who knows what twinge means? Does anybody know what twinge means?
Pain.
Anybody? Everybody's shy.
Kind of pain.
Define twinge. See what Google tells us. Dun, dun, dun. My internet's still slow. Come on, internet. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Twinge is a sudden, sharp, localized pain. Okay. He felt a twinge in his knee. It's like a sudden, sharp pain. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So he felt like a sudden, sharp pang of fear. He felt a twinge of fear. He's like, oh no, I'm going to have to go back to Alamorth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Other questions? Pronunciation, vocabulary, expressions.
No, sir.
Okay, good. All right, so Abisamed, you're up next. Go ahead, read the next paragraph.
The cloud is swollen in its shell-like and controlled volume of the recipient of Niagara. The emotion is like cloud is jealous like around the great monarch's features.
Okay, all right. You're real low, so if you can get closer to your microphone or try to talk louder, it'll be easier for us to hear you. Does anybody have questions about these words?
Swirled.
Wild.
Swirled?
Yeah.
So swirl is like to whirl or to roll. Like, when the river flows, the water goes and there's a rock in the water flows around it, right? So sometimes as it flows, it kind of swirls in a circle.
Okay.
So it's like the thoughts are whirling in his head. They're swirling around in his brain.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
All right. Good. Any more questions?
Another one, and precipice.
Precipice. The precipice
Thank you.
is like the edge of the mountain, the cliff, You've got the mountain and all of a sudden there's a sudden drop off. The cliff there, that's the precipice. So when there's the waterfall, the water goes over the edge of a cliff and then there's the waterfall.
Okay.
That is the precipice. So it's like the top of the mountain, the top of the hill right before it drops off the cliff. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I will read, sir, the second paragraph.
Okay. So who's next here? Abisamed? Or who's talking?
Hello.
Who was gonna read next here? I'm looking. I see Abisamed, but I think you just read the last one, right? So go ahead, Maria Luisa. You have your hands raised. If you guys want to, if you want to read, just remember to raise your hand because then I'll call you here on the list. That way I know you want to read. So go ahead, Maria Luisa. I think we're back to you. Your turn.
Sir.
Fletcher took a deep breath and closed his eyes, trying to push the emotions out of his mind. He focused on the fact that he was still alive, grateful that despite everything he had been through, he was still alive.
All right. Very good. Any questions about any of these words?
No, it's very easy, I think.
Very easy. All right. Piece of cake.
Enjoy the fact that he's alive.
Was that a question? I didn't understand. What's that?
No.
You were just saying. Okay. All right. Good. All right. We'll read another one here. Let's see who else wants to read.
Sir.
Who's that?
Sir, I read it, sir.
Okay. Mahdi, then hang on just a second. We'll come back to you because Ahmad already had his hand raised. So we'll let Ahmad read and then you can read next, okay? So go ahead, Ahmad.
So the stormy emotions raging inside of him began to subside slowly as he took several more deep breaths. He opened his eyes once more and looked around. Fletcher stood in awe of the destruction that had taken place around him.
Okay, good. Anybody have questions? No questions?
Yeah, I think it's no questions.
Not really. Okay, good. All right, so Mahedi, we'll let you read next, and then Abisamed will read again. Then Amale Khan has his hand raised, and then we'll be back to Maria Luisa. Go ahead, Mahedi.
Teacher, the crackling sound of the flames linking and consuming what was left of the once mighty uh, vessels of a great army filled, filled his ears. The smoky
Wait.
scent of burning oak filled his nostrils from the broken and burnt out hills of cracked chairs, shapes surrounding the edge of the lake, or rather, what had once been the bottom of the lake.
All right, good. Any questions?
Yeah, crackling.
Crackling. What is crackling? Who knows what crackling is? Honeyland, do you know what crackling is?
Crackling sound, the
Yeah.
flames from the root word crack.
Okay.
Explosive sound.
From the root of crack. Exactly, right? What kind of sound does cracking make?
Crackling sound.
Okay.
Who knows? What when something cracks, what kind of sound does it make?
When we eat chips, I think then this sounds appear, right?
Yes, when you eat chips and you snap the chip, you crack it crackles, right? So it goes like
Okay, yeah, I got it right now. Yeah.
okay. So to make a rapid succession of slight cracking noises. So it's like lots of little crackling noises. Good question. Any others?
Other one is oak.
Oak.
Yeah.
What is oak? Does anybody know what oak means?
Oud.
Oak
Oud.
is a type of tree, right? A type of wood. It's a type of tree. It's a big tree. And
Okay.
did you ever watch the cartoon with the chipmunks? Those little squirrels, they're little chipmunks, and they run and they grab the nuts and they fill their mouths with the nuts, the
Yeah, that's great.
acorns. That comes from the oak tree. It's a type of tree.
It's a big tree, right?
A big tree, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Exactly. Also, I wanted to point out the pronunciation of two words here. Ear, actually, a couple of words from the last couple of paragraphs. We have ears, and this word is edge. The pronunciation of this word is raging, and the pronunciation of this word is awe. Awe.
Oh,
Okay, good. Continuing on here, who do we have to read next? Abisamed, I think we're back to
yeah.
you.
Sir, what about me?
Hang on. Khan, do you want to read? Is that why I think you're holding your hand up, or are you just holding your earphone? I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Do you
I
want to
want
read? Okay, all right. So we will let you read next, okay? I saw you had your hand up. When you raise your hand, it's a button in the Zoom app that you push. It's called raising your hand, and that way I can see like a little blue icon. But I understand you want to read, so it's no problem. We'll let Abisamed read, and then next
Yeah.
turn you can read. Okay, Khan? So go ahead, Abisamed.
Okay, sir.
Now late
Okay,
dry and barren, 80% of water. That are estimated the crater was no longer here. Can see most of the good like liquid had been raised into the atmosphere. The flame is for the sword of Alamorth.
All right, good. Okay. So vaporized. Vaporized. The liquid had been vaporized, which is like evaporated.
Yeah,
Okay. Any other questions about these words here?
Barren.
Barren. What is barren? Who knows what barren means?
Dry.
Anybody
Yeah.
know? It means dry, desolate, sterile,
Profitless.
unproductive, kind of like the desert, you know? It doesn't rain, so it doesn't produce the crops. Grass doesn't grow, the trees don't grow. So that's
Infertile.
pardon? What's that?
Infertile.
Right. Infertile, exactly. When
Infertile.
something is not fertile, infertile, it is barren. Very good. That is a good synonym for it. Okay, so let's go ahead and let Con read here. Honeylin and Evandro, do you guys want to read or not?
Yeah, can I read?
Sure. Let's go ahead and let I think Con's gonna read now. So we'll let you read next. So if
Yes,
you
sir.
want to, I didn't see you had your hand up, but just asking to double check. So after Con, then you can read Honeylin.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So go ahead, Con.
Okay. Fletcher lifted his eyes to look at the sword in the middle of the lake. It had landed point down and sank deep into the soggy lake bottom. He watched in awe as the sword slowly began to
Disintegrate.
disintegrate in self-destruct from the bottom up, and yet
Bottom.
it didn't fall over or move. The sword continued to hover over the water and float silently in the air.
Okay, good. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question.
It's a soggy.
Soggy.
Soggy
What
what?
is
Soggy.
soggy? Who knows what soggy is?
Mushy or wet.
Yes. So it's like, you know, when you go to a lake, right at the edge of the lake, there's not yet water, but the ground is already very soft. And if you step in it, you sink in the mud. So that's soggy, it's mushy. Do you understand, Amalikan?
Yeah, I
Oh,
understand.
okay, good.
But
Any
I
other
also
words?
any one is a hover.
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 What is hover? Who knows what hover means?
Fly. Okay.
It's not like fly like a bird flies.
It's
It means
floats.
kind of like you're flying, but you're floating, right?
Okay.
So it's
On the
kind of like
water.
a butterfly, right? The butterfly flutters, it hovers over the flower, or a hummingbird, it hovers by the flower. So it's like flying, but floating in a place, kind of like a helicopter flies, you know? The airplane,
Okay. Yeah.
the airplane
Got
takes off and it flies straight, but the helicopter, it can hover in one place and kind of move around. Hang on, let me turn off my phone here. If it doesn't, somebody's trying to call me. There we go. Okay, good. Da-da-da-dun. Honeylin, you've been so patient. I'm going to let you read 2 paragraphs because you've been sitting there for a long time. Go ahead.
Can you hear me well? Is my voice clear?
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
All right. The flames and burning ash continued to waft off of it. Then it began to rise into the air. Loose rocks around, Fletcher trembled and rose up slightly along with it. He wished that it didn't have to end this way. Fletcher had come so far on his journey searching for his mighty weapon, and now he had found it. The sword was now degrading and disappearing before his very eyes.
All right, very good. Do you guys have any questions about any of these words? No questions? Tremble. Tremble right here. What is tremble? Does anybody know? Who can tell us what
Yeah.
tremble means?
Shook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shook.
Nice.
Okay. So, like when there's an earthquake, you know what happens in the earthquake? The ground trembles and shakes and the buildings fall over, right? So, tremble.
Yes.
So, tremble like when you're scared, when you get very frightened, you tremble. Your hands can tremble, shake,
Yes.
shiver, quiver, vibrate. Any other questions? All right. Let's see who wants to read next. Evandro, did you want to read? I think everybody's
Yes.
read except you.
Fletcher had started this journey with the hope that once he found it and possessed it, he would become king of all the land as the legends foretold. But that didn't seem to be the case now.
Good. All right. Any questions?
Foretold?
Foretold. Foretold. Who can tell us what foretold means?
It's prediction.
Predict.
To predict, right? So, fore means before it happened. So, something's going to happen, but you foretell it. It's like prophesy, right? So, let's say that next week something is going to happen, and somebody says, oh, next week on such and such a day, this is going to happen. They foretell it. So,
Being aware of future.
being aware of the future, right? So, the legends tell of things that are going to happen in the future. Foretold. Good. All righty. Next paragraph here. Let's see who's next. I think everybody's gone. Ahmad, I think it's your turn. And then Maria Luisa will be up next. So we'll keep going around here. Go ahead, Ahmad.
Yeah. The thought crossed his mind that his motives had not been pure. The entire time he had viewed the sword as a symbol of power and authority, as an object to be obtained for his own gain, and yet now the true meaning of the sword became clear.
Perfect. Good. Any questions? No questions? All right. Maria Luisa, your turn.
Here I am. It was the symbol of the freedom for his people. It had united them, kept all of the tribes together. He was no better than any one of the others. His tribe was no more special than the rest, and yet, if he possessed it, he would consider himself the best. His tribe would consider themselves more special than all of the others.
Great. Very good. Any questions about any of these words?
Is tribe a synonym to clan?
Tribe is a synonym to clan, yes.
Yes.
Family, association, classes, races. So, like a tribe, a group of people.
Yes.
All right. Any others?
So far.
So far? Okay. So, pronunciation of this word is united. United. Yes, united. You almost kind of roll your T. So, it's kind of like a united. United. All right. Good. Who's next? Who wants to read next? Abisamed. Looks like you're next. You got your hand raised there. Go ahead. Abisamed, you want to read? Okay, I see you giving thumbs up, but I can't hear you. Go ahead. All right, I don't hear Abisamed. I don't know if can anybody else hear Abisamed?
Yes, sir. I will read it.
Okay, go ahead.
It was for the base that it returned to its rightful place, far from the grasp of corrupt and greedy men who would try to manipulate it and wield it for their own evil purposes. Men who use it to control their fellow member for their own selfish ends.
All right, great. Anybody have any questions? No questions? All right.
Greedy is from grief.
What's the meaning of greedy?
Greedy
Greedy. Greedy.
From grief.
Okay, what is greedy? Who knows?
Selfish.
No.
Exploitative, covetous, devouring. So let's say someone is
Selfish, a
greedy,
selfish
they
man.
want money, right? They want
Uh-uh.
lots of money. So they keep taking all the money for themselves. They're greedy.
Mm-mm. Selfish.
Selfish, yes. Uh-huh.
Mm.
All right, good.
And manipulate.
Manipulate. Manipulate.
Trying to
Da-da-dun. There it is. Who knows what manipulate is?
trying to control something.
Very good, Honeylin.
That's
Exactly. It's like someone who tries to control things, they manipulate it, you know? They're kind of like Machiavellian. They have
Yes.
a evil plan and they want to make everybody do things their way. So they manipulate the situation, they manipulate people. Very good. All right. Who's next here? Da-dun, da-dun. Ahmad, I think you're up next.
Yes.
Okay, did you just read or was that Khan before? I'm not sure who's next here. I think it's you, Ahmad. Go ahead. You can read it.
Okay. Fletcher smiled at the thought that he had come full circle. He had left his tribe out of anger at his chief's greedy and corrupt actions. And yet he had no doubt that he would have been tempted to do the same if he had been in his shoes.
Perfect. Any questions?
Tempt?
Tempted?
Yeah.
Okay. What is tempted? Who knows? Honeylin?
To it's like being tempted or how do you say this? Yeah, invited or
Lured.
influenced by something.
Invite,
Right,
motivated,
right.
or
Uh-huh. So it's like there's something that's bad that you're not supposed to do, and somebody tries to make you do it, right? They're like,
influence.
oh, come on, it's good, you know? So they tempt you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Tricking
So
to
like
doing
let's
something.
say let's say that you're on a diet. You want to lose weight. You want to lose 10 pounds, but somebody's like, oh, come on, eat some more ice cream. It's no problem, right? They tempt you to eat the ice cream. All right. Honeylin, let's give you want to read the next phrase, the paragraph?
Oh, okay. He reflected on the fact that over the course of his journey, his hope and belief that had become blurred through his own desire for power, which would have taken him down a destructive path.
Very good.
Wow.
Any questions?
Blur?
Blur. What is blur?
Become blurred through it's like not clear. Is that
To become unclear, right? Obscured, dimmed, smeared. So like if the edges are very clear, you know it's a circle, but if the colors start to blur, you don't know where the circle ends and where it starts. So it becomes blurry.
Okay.
All right, we're coming down to the end. We're almost at the end here. Evandro, do you want to read?
Yes, yes. The last bits of the sword handle disintegrate into bright bits of ashes and smoke. Fletcher raised his spear in a final salute, grateful that the sword had saved him and his people. He had given up to save the lives of those he loved, and it had been worth it.
All right, good. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Teacher, I came across too many times with raise and rise. What's the
Okay,
main difference between raise and rise?
this is a very good question. He raised his spear. There's some different rules and it can be a little complex even for native speakers. When we're studying grammar in high school, this is always difficult for students. But the simplest way to explain it is like this. When you do something, okay, to another object, you raise it. For example, Fletcher raise the spear. All right. But
Yeah.
let's say that Fletcher gets up himself. You would say Fletcher rises. All right. So it's kind of
Yes.
like when you're doing the raising to something else, to another object, you use raise. And when you're doing it yourself, it's rise. Okay. So
Okay,
you say,
transitive and intransitive verb.
yeah. Okay. Yes, exactly. If you want to get into the meta language and the technical words, that's it. Exactly. I was trying to explain it simply, but very good. If you understand that,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? No questions? Who's next here? Khan, do you want to read?
Yes, sir. Why not?
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. He wondered what would have happened if he had chosen a different path, if he had run off with it instead of using the sword to save his people. Would it still have been given him if he had done that? Had this all been a test?
Yes. Good. Any questions?
Run off with.
Ran off with. What is run off? Ran off.
Get
Who
away.
knows?
You can run off money, run off time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it kind of has
Give
that
up.
connotation of steal, right? You take something and you run off with
Yes,
it.
sir.
You run away with it.
Yes. Run away.
Uh-huh. Good. All right. Any other questions? If not, we'll jump here to the last one. And go ahead, Maria Luisa. I think it's your turn.
Okay. Fletcher shook those questions out of his mind. He would never know, but he did know that he had made the right decision for himself and those he loved. He smiled wanly to himself and turned to leave the distraction behind him. It was time to head back home.
All right. Very good. Any questions?
No, sir.
No questions? Okay. All right, everyone. Fantastic. Did you all enjoy doing the class
Yes,
like this?
Yes.
Was it
a
helpful?
lot.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Good. So we can do more like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post another picture in the group, and then you guys can write the stories, ask questions about the vocabularies. If you see word pictures, items in the picture that you don't know how to describe, you can ask about it. We'll comment about it. We'll write some more stories, and then in another live, we'll do this again then. So teach some more vocabulary, have a little story for you guys to read, practice your pronunciation. Would you like me to record this story so you can listen to?
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Okay. So I can
Okay.
record the story and then I can upload it just for you to listen to practice your listening skills. So you can listen to it and practice your pronunciation as
Yes,
well.
it's very good.
Okay.
We
Good.
need that.
I'm glad you liked it then. I think this will be fun. So we've been here already almost an hour and a half. I know it was a long class today, but thank you very much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
I know for
Thank
some of you
you.
it's very late, so I hope you guys get a good night's sleep. For those of you who are just starting off your day, have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next live.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
day.
You too. Bye-bye.